Hi, I thought I'd show you my seedlings today. This year I started the most seedlings I've ever started before. I had to get some extra trays and so far so good, but it's been way more to take care of than I've done in the past. So this one at the front, these are burlati beans. They're a climbing bean. Got a few of them to grow up the side of the deck, which is pretty fun. They're supposed to get quite tall. So we did it last year. They went pretty well. It was nice to have a little extra foliage around the deck. So that was good. Put these to the side. These ones, those beans as well. This, not a vegetable, it's a flower. It's a petunia that I got from the local nursery. I actually took some cuttings from it. I'm a novice at propagating, but so far so good. They seem to be taking, so I just need to keep them in their house. Okay, a couple loud motorcycles. That was very thoughtful of them. Okay, next thing. What do we have? This one. Okay, there's a few things in here. In this tray, I started some basil fairly recently. They've come up nicely, so keep them in the tray for a little while. And they are going to be interplanted with the tomatoes. So I've got two variety of tomatoes there. One is a cherry tomato, and the other is aroma tomato. So I didn't label them when I planted them, so I'm not sure which is which, but I think it'll be pretty obvious as they start growing. The other thing that's in this tray is I've put three things into these little tiny cells. I've got, is that right? Nope, this is the wrong order. I've got some short sunflowers on this side, some green beans, a mixture of colors in the center, and some sweet corn on the end. So here's the corn. The bean pack was kind of fun because it's three colors in one, and then some short little low sunflowers to put in the garden to help with the pollinators and just, you know, be pretty. All right, what's the next tray here? I had another moment with these. I was planting them, putting the seeds in with my 3-year-old, and I kind of remembered the order that I put them in, but I didn't make the tags before we planted them. And then I made the tags after we put the seeds in, and I wasn't really sure which ones were which. So, not a big deal though. The ones at this end are some climbing nasturtiums, two varieties, but they're both very similar, so they're kind of interchangeable, and that's fine. At this end, there's two types of sweet peas. They're both supposed to be similar heights, so that'll be okay. Not sure which is which, but they'll be nice either way. It'll be fine. The last tray on the table here I did keep track of which was which, fortunately. And I thought these were big seeds. I should probably put them in big modules. So 2 rows here of butternut squash. These butternut squash, I actually saved seeds from a squash that I had bought at the grocery store. So I didn't actually buy a pack of seeds. I grew them last year from the same selection of seeds, and it went really well. So these seeds are 2 years old, I suppose, and they seem to be coming up all right. The next thing is pumpkins. Just, Halloween pumpkins, the standard, for fun. We cooked a few of them this year, and they went pretty well, but not technically a cooking variety. The next thing here is a zucchini. It's a little small 8-ball zucchini. I've never grown these ones before. I thought they looked really cute. We're not really a big zucchini family, but I thought, really small squash, we could deal with that. And it would be fun. The next one is cucumber, long English style. I think that was the last of the seeds of this packet. We've been growing from that packet for a few years now, so we'll have to get some more next year, but they've been good so far. And then at the end here, this small tiny jungle, is sunflowers, and it's a mix of taller sunflowers. It says up to 6.5 feet. So we're gonna plant those in the corner of the vegetable garden, and they'll be really fun and colorful in the corner. All right, let's see the other seedlings. Okay, seedlings round 2. This is, I think, more than what was here previously. Most of this is flowers. A lot of it I've never grown before. I think I'm mostly succeeding though. So most of it is flowers because one, I wanted to have a variety of things for companion planting and to bring the pollinators into our vegetable garden. The other reason there's a lot of flowers is because we have a section in our front yard that needed a overhaul. So I've started a whole bunch of things to plant out in the front yard. They have not been planted out yet. A lot of this is overdue for being planted out, but I am not done clearing out the old weeds, and there's some grass in that garden bed that needs to get cleared out. I've got some mulch that I've been spreading over the parts that I have cleared out already, but it's just not done. And these plants are so small, I don't want them to be planted into a work in progress sort of section, because they'll just get lost in the mulch and stepped on, and it won't work out for them if that's what we do. Okay, so the first thing in this tray is chamomile, and they are doing very well. They've been here in these modules for too long, I think. The roots are coming out the bottom, and they're waiting for their spot to be ready in the yard. I planted some out in the front yard or the backyard, around the veggies and whatnot, and I was able to separate the multiple seedlings in the modules, which was great. They bounced back really well once they're watered in. So I'm hoping I can do that with these ones. I reluctantly not had the heart to thin them, but we'll see. They've been in these modules for longer. The roots might be a little bit too tangled to do that, so hopefully it will work. So yeah, that's chamomile. The next thing here is scabiosa. These ones are doing well as well. They are they've also been in these modules for a while. It's a mix of a variety of colors. I grew some last year in our garden, which was great. I thought they were supposed to be an annual, but I think they all overwintered, and so they're still happily growing in the yard, way ahead of these ones, of course, because they're established from last year. The next thing is some cosmos. This is a multi variety of colors as well in this packet. They're doing pretty well. They also look like they have been in the tray a bit long and need to go out. Okay, next tray. Let's get these out of the way. In the next tray, we've got more nasturtium. These are just a lower mounding variety. I started them more recently. They're primarily just for the vegetables, kind of a mix of oranges, yellows, etc. They will be great. And then there's a few more scabiosa. And then I've got some yarrow, which is taking off. The yarrow is supposed to be a perennial, and I'm expect that it will be self-seeding as well. It will probably put some in the front yard and some in the backyard. I think it'll do a really good job of attracting beneficial insects and whatnot. It might be a mistake though, because it might self-seed itself a little too aggressively. But we'll see. We'll give it a go, and we'll probably decide in another year or two if it was a mistake. And then this last section, some more Cosmo. I sowed some of these plants multiple times because I realized I wanted more than I thought I did initially. So I've got some duplicates at varying ages. So that's what happened. The next tray is, these are some small cells, and I've got multiple things sewn into the same set, or into different parts of the same tray. So on that side, those little tiny plants are poppies. They are a blend of a variety of colors. I thought they looked cute. So we're just gonna grow those for fun. I knew that poppy seeds were small, but I kind of expected them to be a little bit manageable, but the ones in this package are about the size of dust. They're much smaller than I expected. So the poppies will be fun. The other thing on the other side of this tray is GM. They're coming along fairly well. The GM is supposed to be a perennial. Let's see. So they're all red. I thought they looked really nice on the package. Hopefully they will grow well. They're growing a bit slower than most annuals because I guess they get to live longer, so they don't need to grow as quickly. So they might not be ready to plant out for a front yard this year, so I might put in something as a kind of a holdover until next year when they're bigger, but we'll see. At the other end of this tray is the great big, well, they're not as big as the others, but marigolds. This pack of marigolds is a blend of yellows, oranges, and even some, I guess, variegated, do you call that variegated on flowers? Orange and red. So that will be nice to have some varying colors. Some of these will go in the front yard, and some of them will also go in the vegetable garden, of course. The next tray. So at the end there, whoops, we've got some herbs. Ugh, come on out of there. We've got sage here and a few little oregano. I did start more of these, but I've already planted out a bunch of them in the backyard. I held a few back just as a safety net in case the first ones didn't make it for some reason, by maybe the dog or the 3-year-old or wildlife. You never know. The next thing is alyssum. This stuff has been in here for probably far too long. The roots are starting to mat out the bottom in a few of these cells. I've planted out some of the alyssum in the backyard, but the plan is to put a whole bunch of this in the front yard. And as I was saying, it's not ready for putting small plants in yet, so they're just gonna have to tough it out for a bit longer until I can get that weeding done. And then there's a few more marigolds here. You can see there's a couple that are getting very close to opening. These are some of the, well, they were the first seeds that I sowed, these 2 flowers. So they have been in these trays for quite a while. Again, the roots are filling the little cells. Okay, a couple more trays. This is an entire flat of alyssum. There's, I think these are 72 cells. Oh, did I show you this? So they're all, it's solid white flowers. Well, I guess they have slight yellow centers, but it'll be hopefully quite filling. The reason that we needed so many is because they're such small plants. The plan is to have these as kind of the front edge of the border in the front yard. Hopefully it will look good, but the plants are only supposed to spread to be about 4 inches wide. So if you want a big long line of them, you need a lot of them. So these ones are toughing it out in their little tiny houses or homes. The little tiny cells in that tray. So I think that's all the flowers. Now we've got just a few more things for the vegetable garden here. Okay, so this one, little 6-pack, I think these were the only seeds I had left of these. These are cucamelons, which is a kind of a miniature cucumber. They kind of look like little tiny watermelons, but they're only, you know, an inch or so long. They're really neat. The plant also kind of looks like a miniature cucumber vine, and it grows a ton of these little fruits, and they have kind of a limey zest. So they're a little bit different to use and snack on than a standard cucumber, but they're fun. And then in this little pot, there's some leeks. We grew leeks last year as well. They've been great. We just left them in the garden bed over winter, and so we could just come out as we needed them for cooking and whatnot and just pick them as required. We didn't store them inside or anything like that. The last little tray here, these guys are a little stringy looking. I'm hoping that I can just plant them deeply and they'll be okay. These are quinoa plants. I thought that they would be fun to grow. They're supposed to be a fairly tall plant. I think it's up to 6 feet or so, and you can see on the package the flower heads, which is what ends up becoming the quinoa, is kind of this bright pink, and it's kind of almost like a feather duster sort of shape. So I thought it would be nice interplanted in the flower beds, and then you could harvest it later and get a bit of a crop out of it. It'd be great. 2 for 1, right? And so I bought this seed packet, I think in the middle of the summer last year, and I planted a few that grew in the fall, and they did all right. I think that they didn't grow as well as they would have if they were planted properly in the spring as intended. So this is our go at doing it as intended in the spring. Hopefully they will grow well.